he likes, and I love all bubbles. So there you go. Stephanie Harvey, Jennifer
And
Hathaway.
here we go, everybody.
In the house, Robin in the house.
In 3 and 2 and 1. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our happy Slappy Wednesday.
Whew, you guys.
I saw one skit where somebody's making fun of Johnny Carson. That is, and I can't stop doing it every time a camera turns on. I'm like, well, that is some wild stuff. All right, so coming up in this episode, it's National Wine Day. It's also National Towel Day, but I wasn't really sure how to celebrate National Towel Day.
I'll show you.
Crypt updates, plural. Oh, I see. So let's see.
Always have your towel with you.
You get to see my genius maker abilities, something you did not know about me. I'm an incredible.
He's an artist.
Incredible maker. I've got a fun tweet of the week. Of course, we always pimp out the newsletter. You should sign up for the newsletter. You get information. Sign up for the text. We text you about stuff, including this episode right here. And then Junkie Meetup. Let's see where that's at.
First Saturday of every month. This one is, the next one is Saturday, June 4th, which is not this weekend, but the following weekend. Our friend Steve Rickyberg, who you guys know and love, he hosts this entire thing, and he chooses to make it 7 hours long or more, because that way people from all around the world can connect and keep in touch during this crazy
Yes.
time.
Yes, Rob, we do, and that will probably happen a little bit later. All right, pour that wine, girl.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
We, like I said, I love all bubbles. Scott likes La Marca, so we're going to drink wine today because it's National Wine Day. Whew. And also Wednesday. Okay, so Scott Sigler, do you remember the first time you ever had La Marca?
Not a clue.
Probably not, but this is one wine. You guys know that at Empty Set, we celebrate the wins, we celebrate the lives, we celebrate the losses, we do all the things, and this is a wine that we have had quite a whole lot, marking lives as they go by.
Well, we'll do a cheers in a second. So, of course, tragic things been happening in the country. Last 10 days or so, we had 10 killed in Buffalo, 21 killed in Texas, including 19 grade school children. Now, if you're one of those people who gets fired up for a 2A conversation, this isn't one of those. You can relax. This isn't political. This is just math. These mass shootings absolutely happen. People are dead and we're doing nothing wrong to nobody. And, we're just here to recognize that happen and raise a glass to some murdered Americans.
Well,
cheers to the memory. It's just, it's awful. Also, that's the 27th school shooting with injuries or deaths this year alone.
Yeah.
27. So,
and it's important.
Moving
it's
on.
important to remember that these people were just like us.
Yep.
And I'm glad you guys are here, and I'm sad that they're not. And my neck just made noise, but
All
raising
right.
a glass.
Let's get back to over there. Now, we follow up that more sobering little salutation. It's just like, how do you not at least mention some of the shit going on when you do this, even though it's a fun, politics-free show. But let's take a look at, where are we at? Oh, yes, of course, going to the books. That's ready. And, all right, ladies and gentlemen, here's your latest update on the Crypt. Here's the word count. 88,672. That's a fresh picture. I took that just about 20 minutes ago. Projecting this to be a 123,000 word novel. I'm going to talk a little bit more about my thoughts on that number and how it feels to be writing this right now. All the fun stuff. But if you do the math, and I am exceptional at math, the only thing I'm better at than being a maker is math. And that is 72% done according to the numbers that I have there. I have 12 days left. I need to write now over 3,000 words a day, every day, weekends included, to meet that goal. Might not meet that goal. We will see how that goes. And the reason I bragged you guys what an incredible maker I am. I got to tell you. I didn't know. I had no idea that I had this insane skill set.
I was so humble.
I was like,
humble.
I'll sketch a couple of things,
Natassi,
whatever.
So nice to see you. Neil, dear Lord. It's not going to be 123,000 word novella, sir.
No, Neil, smart ass, it is not. That is an actual novel, sir. My novellas are 146,000 words. So I'm in the middle of writing the Crypt, and we are into some of the more hardcore battle scenes. So when you write a book like this, and it's the first book in a series, and you're still defining the world, a lot of times you'll come and say, well, I need to define what this weapon system is. And then you go like, I'm not sure because I don't know what I need that weapon system to do yet. So you put in things called a TK, and it means, I don't even know what it means, but it's a literary thing. You go bracket, the squarey bracket, and then capital T, capital K, colon, and then you put in.
Did you say really good at math?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm exceptional.
Did
I would
you
say exceptional.
The squiggly bracket?
No, the bracket, not
Okay.
the parentheses,
right.
the bracket.
Okay.
And then you put a close bracket on the end of that, and that means you're going to come back later and fill it in. You use that because even if you turn in the manuscript with that sitting there, editors don't care that like, okay, they're going to get this on the second, or going to get this on the third pass. But now I'm to the part where I mostly have the layout of the PUV James Keeling figured out, and I need to visualize when the ship takes damage, what areas of the ship are hit. I'm also I'm trying to treat this not like space is an ocean. This is not going to be a flat book where everybody lines up and our ships are perfectly aligned and all in the same plane for no particular reason whatsoever. I've been working very closely with my military advisors on that. And so I needed something so I could visualize it turning and moving. And yes, I made airplane noises when I did this. So I got some cardboard. And I whipped up
It's so great.
the PUV James Keeling.
What's this?
That's where it took a hit. That's a little bit
You made a little paper with red on it
Yeah.
to signify damage.
And then when I'm writing, I will just move that. I'll be like, okay, well, this needs to go over here now. And then I can kind of visualize what's going on with that. It's got this crazy bridge. It's got the crazy
Can you
superstructure.
put the weapon back where it is currently in the story, though? Can you move it back to here just in case
Yes,
tomorrow
that's a
you
good-
need it?
That's a good idea.
We're not going to do that.
That's a
Because
good
you guys
idea.
will all email us about it.
So there you go. So I built this out of cardboard, and it took, I'm going to guess, an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Not all that long. I mean, I remember you coming down and going to the garage to root around for cardboard.
And this, if you can see these notches on the side right here, this was a wine separator. These were all wine separators. Like if you buy 12 wines in a box, they put a separator in there. That's what all this stuff was. It's still missing the giant hooks all over the place, and you really don't need detail. It's just for me to be able to see it. It's got the elevation and the elevation back. So thought you guys would enjoy that. And then I went to position this.
Brian, the front is the grabby part, I think. I don't know. He wants to know which is the front of the ship.
The front is this.
The grabby part.
Stop saying grabby part.
Okay.
There you go. So that I get to use this and watch. This is how it looks. This is how a professional writer looks. You guys ready? Make typing noises. Wait a minute. I need to see this ship. Let's see. Look about it here. So those noises all get made, even though I'm a middle-aged man. Done typing. Thank you very much. Done typing. All right. So that is, let's go back to here. That is my uncanny knack for being a maker.
I mean,
so I'm
you
impressed.
are. Well, I will say that there's a whole movement of makers that are that say start with cardboard because
is that right?
Is cheap. It's malleable. It's flexible. It's everywhere. So always make your first in cardboard because you can do it 85 times and it costs 3 cents. And you did great.
Yes. And apparently, as an innate, instinctive maker, I knew to start with cardboard.
And natural. Literally a natural.
Didn't have any Legos in the house and didn't have any Play-Doh or modeling clay. And but we've got some things on order. We're going to get to that. All right. And then talking about how things feel in the book right now. Let's go chat. You guys can all see each other chatting. I had a little glass of wine.
Cheers, dear.
Cheers, baby girl. It's very stressful right now, you guys, because being 73% of the way in, not really being sure how long the next 14 chapters are going to be, get really stressed out about missing stuff right now. And I know I have 2 more drafts to come back on this and I'll get edits back, but some of the things you're worried about missing is you've got this world visualized in your head. And then as you move forward, you found out you were missing an entire area that totally changes the shape of everything. I can't describe what's going on without any spoilers, but you can have everything planned out to the best of your ability. Then as you're writing, and this isn't even a character thing. This, as you're writing, this is, oh crap, I forgot to do this. Well, if they have this weapon, if this weapon can do this and these guys can do this, then this is the obvious strategic choice. Mm-hmm. And it never crossed my mind to do that. And then you have to kind of go back and rework everything.
And I will say you did that this past week or so, maybe 10 days or so, where you had to kind of rethink and
it was
go
this last weekend.
Fit this plot problem out. And it's interesting because I've seen him dozens of times do this while, for example, while setting up a new podcast. And as you guys know, you have a podcast feed, downloader, whatever, and there's a little bit of artwork and there's some metadata and there's some information there. And as he's setting all of that stuff up so that the feed looks consistent when you get your podcast and stuff, there's some kind of like, oh, I should have thought of this sooner. Oh, I should have done
Get
this.
a lot of it.
But in that, especially since 2014, since we've been working daily in the same place, I don't think I've seen him this far into a story be like, oh, poop.
I think this actually, I disagree. I think this has gone better. If you remember Nocturnal? Remember Nocturnal, working with Shiv on Nocturnal?
That was actually before you moved to San Diego. So you're right. I've seen it before, but I haven't seen it in a long time where there's a moment of, well, I'm just going to have to put everything down and think about things for a while. Let me tell you guys, his office is absolutely spotless. Because when he needs to think, he kind of tinkers and like cleans stuff up and whatever.
Do something else. But it has to be something that I can then immediately put down when the idea hits me. So there's that. So without any spoilers, feels pretty good. It's a strange book. I think I've talked about this before on SIGLERinPLACE, but it's a character study. There are 5 main point of view characters. The story takes place only through their eyes, and a couple of cheats here and there. But I have to build the world, because this isn't the GFL world. This is 2 centuries earlier. So completely different concept. I've had to build the pseudophysics to allow to have the kind of environment with the ships that I want. I have to establish all that. I have to talk about the ship. I have to establish all the governments. I have to establish, the hierarchies within the militaries. All of this stuff has to be done in book 1 in order for you guys to enjoy book 2 through 5. So it's sort of a thriller plot, but it's a very different thriller plot, and mostly it's a lot of horror. But I will tell you right now, and we'll move on, this is just, you know what this is?
I don't.
This is the horror business card. Book one is like, here's my business card. As you can see, it says writer of horror. Teller of bloody tales. And then you take that tiny little card, you put it in your pocket, and that's book 1. That's all the horror you get in book 1. Then, but you can't help yourself. You're going to call that number, and you're going to ask for book 2.
It's okay, though. We got a plan for book 2.
And then that's like the takeout, the too much food takeout order of horror. So now you're gonna walk around juggling like 4 styrofoam things, just full of horror, entrails, lips, 1 butt cheek and half an eye, things of this nature. Then,
well, we're back to horror, you guys.
Then you move on to book 3.
Uh-oh.
In book 3, you open up one of those styrofoam containers, and you notice a little phone number, and that phone number says, "Call at your own risk." But you can't help it. You're like, I shouldn't call that number. That does not sound healthy at all. I mean, in the inside of a takeout food thing of horror, but you know what? You can't help yourself, and you're going to call that number. You're going to call that number.
I am not calling that number, you guys. I'm not.
And then book 3.
I'm not calling that number.
Backing up the truck of horror. Here we go. And it's a garbage truck. And you don't even want to know what's going to come out of that thing. You don't even want to know what's going to come out of that thing.
No,
but it's not good.
No.
It's not edible.
No.
Is what it is. Most of the time, garbage trucks, what's in it, well, technically, a lot of it is edible. It's biomass, right?
Depends on who's eating, too.
All right.
Jim Lockett, my dear friend, you're the sweetest thing. Nice to see you out there. Thank you so much.
Now, I've got a fun thing. This popped up last week in the Q&A. Somebody was asking about pop culture references. And I'm old. I'm old, you guys. I'm like this old. I'm old, and I have trouble remembering things sometimes. I'm very old. And this is the best I can do. I'm very old. And John Viscara at one point created on Siglerpedia a chart full of all the pop culture references.
Richard Allen, nice to see
Let's
you.
go ahead to this week, and boom, there's our buddy, John Viscar.
John is not with us
He's on
this week
vacation
because
this
he is on
weekend.
vacation. That he's well deserved.
If you were to go to siglerpedia.scottsigler.com or go to scottsigler.com, click on the Siglerpedia link, what you will see is this is the opening page. There's all kinds of glorious information gleaned from 15 years of telling you all many, many stories. And you guys can go through this, find out what aliens look like, find out the timeline, find out all kinds of old versions. It's nuts. It's bonkers. Like here, John has all the versions of Mount Fitzroy.
Has also kept a whole catalog of SIGLERinPLACE.
Yep, he's got everything in this. His hobby is it's awesome. And then, oops, hold on, I screwed that up. Spoiler alert.
Okay.
There it is.
There we go.
There we go. John has built a page called Pop Culture References. And in pop culture, it might be very hard for you guys to see this, but I'll do the best I can. If you see this little chart right here, John has broken it down by book. So he's got the pop culture, and most of these I think he caught himself because we have very similar upbringings, very similar backgrounds, like all the same stuff. So he catches most of these because he's also a movie buff. But it's quite fun, and there's all the books, and then he breaks them down. For example, in The Rookie, after Drew Tweedy joins a team, Quentin Barnes invites him to extended practice sessions. Drew laughed. Practice? What are we talking about? Wait, practice? What are we talking about, man? Practice? Not a game. Not a game. We're talking about practice. I saved it for the games, Q.
Oh my goodness. Do you know what I just realized for the first time in our entire relationship, working relationship, romantic relationship, all of it? If I'm ever like unreasonably mad at you and you do that,
yep, I'm out of trouble. That's great. You're going to be in the same boat my mom was in when I would get in trouble. We'll talk about that a little bit. When I get in trouble, I can make my mom laugh almost every time and got out of trouble almost every time. So here's in the All Pro, after Quentin just shoots and destroys a pirate ship. I got him, Quentin said. I got him. Great, Quentin, Virex said. Do not grow overconfident. Because it wasn't enough. I couldn't quite make Virex say, don't get cocky.
Yeah.
Which, of course, from Star Wars, there's just a number of these, and we won't read them all off. But if you guys are, especially if you're a 70s, 80s, 90s kid, you might have a real good time going through these and seeing what you caught, seeing what you missed. And let's see. There, of course, pandemic, Clarence Otto says, everybody out, he screams as he stumbles around to the other side. Move, get to the chopper. And of course, that's obvious from Predator, but I had to put it in.
Well,
I had to put it in.
it would have been terrible had you called it the chopper.
No, it's a chopper.
That would have not worked.
There's a correct way to pronounce the word in the English language. ESL people may pronounce it another way, but it's a chopper with an R. So that's very fun. And now we move on to, this is super fun. Tweet of the week. Awesome tweet of the week. It's actually many tweets this week. It's kind of great. And I got to go back here and massage this.
Love you, Tori.
What's up? Massage this. Wait. There. Oh, yeah. So this stuff is delightful to me as a creator when it happens. I have to go to, yes. Tweet scene. So here we are. Chris, 18Z Chaotic Good, on the 20th, tweeted, Scott Sigler, after reading Stone Wolves, I can never look at something like this the same way again. And of course, he's referring to the big-ass guns being held by Jeremy Renner in Hansel and Gretel, which I've not seen yet. I heard it was extremely bad. So weird.
Oh, it's one of those so bad it's good. By which I mean it's so bad it's worth it once. It's kind of like The Silence.
Well, I'm sure they got some good monsters in it. And then Philosomorph, which at Watch Zeno says Stone Wolves. And you guys can't see that. I got to watch this. He says Stone Wolves. He doesn't know. He's never heard of this. He doesn't know what's going on. So I say this. I got to watch your screen. Sorry. The Stone Wolves is a novella in my GFL series. And he responds, oh, okay. Does GFL focus like super hard on the football aspect, man? And I did what I often do, which is I retweet someone and ask if the Junkies weigh in. I try not to lead the question.
Right.
I'm just like, hey, this prospective reader had this question. Would any of you Junkies like to respond? And sometimes you get 2, sometimes you get 3, sometimes you get 4 responses. And it's lovely. This one was great because, of course, the biggest bag on the GFL is people won't pick it up because they don't like football.
Yep.
And of course, that's a very fair. I wish I'd thought of that when I started writing this goddamn thing 20 years ago. And then this is what's crazy. Watch this. Look at all of the lovely junkies who jumped in.
Bruce Press, we love.
Everybody's jumped
look
in.
at everybody being so nice. How wonderful.
And
How spectacular.
As always in the world of Siglerism fandom, everybody's cool. There's no shit flinging. There's no insult. I mean, we can't always control that. But for the most part, this is a happy place. And like, just look at it. Look at all these people responding to encourage, number one, to honestly answer the question. And number two, to encourage this person, like, if you like his stuff, you want to pick that up. Mm-hmm. So you guys are friggin' fabulous. When this stuff happens, I love it. And if you ever see questions about my work out in the open, you see it on Reddit. A lot of Sigler activity on Reddit as of late. Yeah. People are answering questions. People are saying, "Hey, I need a book like this." Like, "Oh, you should check out Scott's Infected series. That's kind of what you're looking for." That's the bread and butter of what we do. And when we see that kind of response from junkies, it's heartwarming because it means I did a sufficient enough job creating something that it resonated with you enough to want to share it or answer questions about it. Home run. That's great.
Yeah.
And then, the fact that you take your time to do that and share it. And that's honestly, that is where most of the new readers come from now. They don't come from the podcast because the podcast space is completely flooded, but they do come, like, I get a lot of like, "Hey, I was on this forum and this person said, check you out. And I checked you out and I love your stuff. I want to read everything that you've got." And then you say, "But I don't know. I don't like football." I'm like, "Don't like football? Can anybody answer this question?" Okay, sorry.
I will say also, when this whole text thread or Twitter thread happened,
email.
We have been really, we've talked to you guys about it. We've been pretty locked down. We've watched some of the basketball playoffs here in the U.S. on Hulu, and we went out, I think, 3 weeks ago.
You're pronouncing it Hulu now, too.
How is it?
It's Hulu.
What did I say?
But you said Hulu because we were just watching. We were watching TV
Hulu.
And it was basketball, and somebody said next Thursday on Hulu, and I went, "Hulu? It's not Hulu." And you go, "No, it's not." And then you just said we were watching Hulu, and I'm like, "Wait a minute, it's a mind worm. It's getting into our skulls,
no
man."
idea what's happening.
You said Hulu.
Okay,
all
fair
right,
enough.
that's all. Okay.
But we haven't really been out of the house since we told you we went out and met friends a few weeks ago to celebrate a birthday, and it's on purpose because we're really driving to meet this first draft deadline goal, and it's all hands on deck. We've talked about this being the PUV empty set, all that jazz. We've really been doing that, and so. And we decided that this is all coming together in a second. We decided that we are going to watch the MCU in universe chronological order because I have not seen much of the MCU. And so we're doing that. So we kind of like work all day, spend a couple hours, 2-3 hours at night, hanging out, watching some of the MCU. We watch like maybe half a movie a day or something like that. And so this was a moment that like kind of stopped us in our tracks. It was like a rainbow, so to speak. When a rainbow happens in your life, and you just have to stop and be like, "Hey, a rainbow," even though everybody can see it. It was one of those moments, so it was really nice. I did have a question, and then we'll go on. Somebody asked how Woogie Southie, I just went away. Why my brother's name is Jude. My mom is a giant Beatles fan, and he was the firstborn, so he is named Jude, and he's terrific. He's in the chat room, and I love him to death.
I was ready to lay down a bed of music for you to work on, and like, let me tell you about my brother. It ain't heavy. He's my brother. All right, here we go. And now, that was the tweet scene of the week. How are we doing on time? We're rocking and rolling.
Yeah.
Now we opened up with some rough stuff. Now we go to some very happy stuff because I'm sure you have Siglebrations. Yeah,
I do.
You do. All right. Can we go to Junkie Pictures?
It's all pictures and stuff. So let's go there.
All right. Let's go to Junkies. Yeah.
The first two of the junkie photos, I believe. Yes. Okay. So if you guys don't know these two junkies, they are both in the chat room right now. This is Sean Dyer and Robin Taylor. They are both wearing Kraken's gear. Robin is also wearing, I think, a nocturnal protection symbol.
Yeah. Look at that.
Ceramics necklace.
I owe Robin, I owe you an email. It's coming soon.
And they are standing in front of a Kraken tentacle. I guess Robin visited Sean's neck of the woods, and Sean sent me this photo, and they both look beautiful, happy, healthy, finally getting out into the great big world, safe, healthy, happy. And then the next day I got this from Sean. Next photo.
Next photo is
So they also go to, I think this is Lizzie Borden's house, and they sightsee. And this is obviously a different moment. And so that one came from Sean. And I just love it because this was sort of the whole reason of this kind of thing, like SIGLERinPLACE or the forums back in the day when we had them. And certainly Sigler Fest when we were able to do that. Just bringing like-minded,
it's great.
like-hearted, like-souled people together. And even if your particular expression as a human is a little bit different, we all come together in a lot of ways. And this is actually beautiful. I loved it so much to see them both just as excited.
Too early.
That's okay.
Sorry. Yep.
We can go to the next one. This is actually upside down, 180 degrees. This is a heart. And this is our friend Jared Miller. As you guys know, we all went through this alongside Jared. Jared lost his wife, Trisha, to cancer. And a lot of us, including me, we wore pearls for Patricia because pearls were her favorite. And that was sort of seeing her way on into the next piece. And he got this tattoo over his heart. These are pearls in a heart shape over his heart. And it's a beautiful, beautiful tribute, I think. Woo. And I'm so glad you shared it with us, Jared.
Woo. All right. So turning that off before I start bawling.
I know, honey.
So good breaks, empties up pup dates. All right, I did prepare a pup date this week. It's been a while since we had a pup date.
I know we've been busy with questions.
Been a while since we had a pup date. If you guys will look on the bottom right, it's possible I did this picture before.
Oh, come on,
but
Tiny.
This dog is so fucking adorable when she lays in this little bed that we have probably 18,000 pictures of her, just her face in there and like all the fuzz coming up over her face.
This girl loves a donut bed like nobody's business. The first one she ever had was at her auntie and uncle's house.
Hi, Tina.
Auntie Amy and Jim. And Auntie Amy and Uncle Jim. And she loved it so much, I was like, fine, I'll try a donut bed. And she loves it.
You know, many donut beds. We don't, we're not addicted to any powerful narcotics at this point. So, you know, no meth, no crack. And if listen.
I like that you say at this point, like things may change.
I'm keeping the schedule open. But
it's a big week.
The drugs, hard capital D, bold D, capital D, drugs. So we have money to spend that otherwise we would spend on drugs. Apparently we're addicted to buying dog beds, donut dog beds. Listen, we have 7 of them right now. 7.
We actually have 5, but that's still more than he thought.
I think they're going to be like, they look like tribbles. They're going to start reproducing like tribbles. Here we go.
Yeah.
And then the big pup pick.
Oh.
Those are my 2 peanuts. These are my best, my number 2 and number 3 stress relievers in this world. Actually, I might have to bump Squeaks down. Number 1 is you, obviously. Oh, number 2 is Reese. Number 3 is Scotch. And number 4 is Squeaks.
Fair.
Number 4 is, but it's a close 4. It's close.
Squeaky barks a lot, so. Today she barked for no reason and sleeping next to me as I was working. And it was nothing going on. There was nobody at the front door. And I recognized when people say, I almost jumped out of my skin. I literally moved out of the chair. I got so startled.
I thought you couldn't actually jump out of your skin. I thought that was impossible.
No, I said the chair. I don't think you can jump out of your skin. But
I
watched
I watched a Bugs Bunny. Totally jumped out of the skin.
That is definitely not reality.
How could they draw it if it isn't real? Okay, moving on. I forgot. I forgot a whole part about the pups.
No, these are so
Here we
cute.
Go. Back to here, and let's get these girls off and get this.
Okay. I love this. This is our friend Sean Dyer. I just mentioned you saw him in the Junkie Pics as well. This is his mom's cat chaplain. He says, as in Charlie, not the spiritual advisor kind. He gets annoyed really quickly, so he's only a shoulder cat for a few minutes at most. But he is a perfect chef's kiss shoulder cat, though. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
Yep. Woogie's out there just said, Scott might like a human donut bed. Yes, I would. I would like a human-sized, heart-shaped, high-sided doggy bed so that so that when we're fooling around, I can dress up like Austin Powers and go, oh, turbulence, I fell over. Oh, I fell over again.
Well, this got naughty, but listen, if we're getting a human-sized donut bed, I'm also getting the cuddly Kraken. I'm just saying. I'm getting that plush Kraken.
All right. Ready next one?
Yeah. Oh, come on.
They're adorable. They're
Spike,
adorable.
I see you out. Spike and Becca, I see you out in the chat room.
Oh,
I'm
is that the
so
Spike and Becca's
glad. These are
puppies?
Spike and Becca's puppies.
Oh, my God.
Spike wrote a lovely note a couple of weeks ago, and it's a little bit sad, but we had to put down 2 of our dogs in the last few months. We still have little Miss Daisy, the white yellow Chihuahua that you guys have probably seen on SIGLERinPLACE a while back, but is not in this photo. And the other 2 in the previous pics have passed. So now we have 2 husky/wolf puppies. Lilu, yes, that is who we got the name from, is the dark one, and Scout is the light gray one.
Okay.
They're still puppies, so the house is in shambles. I love the honesty. I love the honesty, Spike. Of course it is. And they're, I'm sure they're terrors, but they are absolutely adorable. But then he says this, but the 5 cats and 1 other dog have seemed to accept them. They're but are very much in the, quote, get off my lawn towards them phase for the moment. Okay, you guys, that's 5, 6, 7, 8 animals. You guys are gorgeous people to house and love 8 animals.
Respect.
But I bet your house is always in shambles, you guys. I desperately want a 3rd animal, but...
No, can't do it. I'm getting a notification from Restream, which is that passes our signal out to everywhere, subtly massages it, inserts it in Facebook, dangles it on LinkedIn, and maybe drops it lightly onto YouTube. And you don't even want to know what it does to Twitch. Anyways, it's giving me an alert right now. So if you guys are having any stuttering in the feed or having any problems with the feed like we had last week, just let us know in the comments. So like this. Ready? Do stuttering. And by that, it's like that. You want to let us know. Thank you very much. Also, that was impressive, what I just did just now. You know what? And your ability to do improv, honey, goodness gracious.
I mean, I do have a theater degree.
It's almost as good as my maker ability.
My
Have I shown you
goodness.
guys my cardboard tube ship? Thank you very much. All right, going back to the dogs, we got one more dog pic to take a look at, I
and
believe.
It's so cute. You guys, this.
Here we go, ready?
Oh, yeah, we got one more. This, come on, look at that sweet, sweet face. Mary Garrett sent in, this is Bucky. And he turns 2 tomorrow on the 26th. 2 tomorrow on the 26th. His name is Bucky. Yes, he is named after the Winter Soldier. And no, Mary has not yet brainwashed him to attack people when given commands in Russian.
That's
I
great.
appreciate the yet part of that.
Yep.
And that's it. Those are the 3 we have.
I don't remember what the actual Russian command was in Firefox for Clint Eastwood to launch the missile, because you had to think it in Russian. Spoiler, sorry, the movie's 40 years old. My bad. But I do remember.
Dare you?
I do remember a donkey that played football.
What?
And that donkey, who is in the Hall of Fame, by the way, for setting the record for the longest field goal ever. Also 7 field goals in one game, both records. That donkey would kick when you said oyage. Oyage. That was
you say Rus to the dogs.
Rouse, yeah.
Rouse to the
Rouse.
dogs.
Rouse.
Which I think means go.
Yes. Rob, of course, the movie maven, understands that Gus, who Disney made a movie of, which is nice, the real Gus is in the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Ohio. Yeah.
Mario, I don't know if the cardboard crypt will survive the first draft.
No.
But if it does,
Because I'm going to light that bitch on fire at some point.
It may go in the Hall of Fame, but it's unlikely. And if it
Yes,
does,
Daniel,
we'll show you
correct.
where it lives in the living room downstairs.
Well, this is just the first draft, and I got some Legos on order. Mr. Happy Chris Grawl.
These are chopsticks.
Oh yeah, the chopsticks, you guys. Chopsticks. So I will keep this model. We'll talk more about this model. Oh, that's what I was going to say. I built the model, and then I was getting ready to prepare for this cast, and my brain is fried, and there's heavy events going on in the world, and I'm like, oh, I'd love to show them this, but oh man, I don't want to give them any spoilers. Good. Before I remembered, I had made a Facebook post about it yesterday, documenting the whole thing, and I'm like, shit. Well, they've already seen it, so now the cat's out of the bag.
Yeah.
But there's going to be, I imagine there's going to be a lot of Legos bought. Chris Growl's making one. I got to work with Kelly McCardle, who's a Lego expert.
And such a dear
He
friend.
made one. He made one way back when for Sigler Fest, but it was...
Oh, no, he made a touchback, right?
No, he made a Crypt too.
Oh, did he?
He made a Crypt, and it was like 4 feet long. It was huge. And that's not something I can operate with in here. So I got to come up with something a little bit smaller. But hopefully as we move in on this, Kelly is also adept at doing the stuff online and making kits, like instructions with kits, like you buy these blocks.
Yep.
And if that ever happens, we will let you know, and you guys can go build your own. Be great.
Kelly McArdle has an old-timey Kraken's jersey. If you guys are still looking for Kraken's jerseys, because I still get emails about them, and I saw a Facebook post about them, the vendor who made our Kraken's jerseys, who is a junkie and is a friend of ours, Gary, his embroidery business went out of business in the pandemic because he supplied jerseys to colleges and schools and stuff like that, and they spent 2 seasons without doing that. So we're working on new jerseys. Somebody wants every jersey for every event. That's going to be a long time coming if it ever happens, but we're working on it.
We're working on it. All right, so back to here. That was Sigler.
Oh, but what I was so sorry. What I was going to say is Kelly's jersey says Lego upside down. It's like 7330. So
it can never happen.
Whatever it is. That's.
For the rest of, as long as I'm alive and in control of this, you get 2 numbers. You get one number, 1 digit, 2 digits. You don't get 7 digits. You don't get 5,
he got
4.
4, but it worked out. So he's a Lego expert and a good friend of ours, and hopefully we can get a
Jersey
Lego.
666 is taken. Don't ask. You can't. You can't.
Also, Jersey 333 is taken, which I love. Only half evil. I love Callie.
Callie's the best. I haven't heard from Callie in a while. All right, so now we're moving on to, ladies and gentlemen, it is that time of day when you can say, come on in, let's ask some questions.
Oh, it's questions time.
It's time for Ralph Mouth. Ask some more questions. It's Ralph Mouth. Yes, any questions so far? Ralph Mouth, those of you who recognize this cherubic redhead, Yeah.
So Jennifer Hathorne asked who had a jersey number 69, and somebody must have, but I don't know.
Oh, there's several.
Yeah, there must be.
There's
I don't know off the top of my head though.
There's several. Also, I'm probably going to get one for myself. What's your number, baby?
Well, my number's 8.
So I'm number 6. Baby's number 8. We just missed it. Missed it by that much.
So I'm actually, but this is kind of a fun story. I'm number 8 because you guys may have heard this, but one of the first things that we did in the road to becoming Empty Set was, you've heard the whole apocryphal story where I show up at a convention and I sort of yell at him for being late and give him my business card, and then he gets sort of stranded because of bad travel plans, and he calls me and I fix it. And if not, you can send an email and we'll post a link to it in the next SIGLER-in-Place. But I also have this very early thing where he says, after we worked together on logistics for a while, he says, do you want to edit The Rookie? And I'm like, yes, of course. And none of that really, that's not a thing I had ever done before. And he's like, no, just come up. Oh, wait, I lost my train of thought. So sorry. There was a point here. What were we just talking about?
If it pops in your head, let me know. But we'll watch the questions over here. I can now move this up.
Oh yeah, that
here.
was it was started
Slap
from
it
one
up,
of those questions.
Flip it, rub it down. And let's go to questions. Mr. Mouth will keep us company. I'll watch that. You start with a question on here, babe.
Okay. If Bima, this is from Godfrey Lee.
Daryl said 667, the neighbor of the beast. That's fantastic.
If Beam Up on Aisle 5 was made into a movie, who would be a better Chad Littleton? Chris Tucker or Don Cheadle?
I probably got to go. I got to go Chris Tucker. Chris Tucker's a bit. Cheadle's, to me, Don Cheadle's a far more accomplished, I will take this outlandish character, but yet make it believable. Like, this is a person you could bump into at the grocery store. And Chris Tucker is just completely over the top in everything all the time. So I would go with Chris Tucker on that one. Because it's a lighthearted story. If it was a little more serious, definitely Cheadle. Lighthearted, definitely go Chris Tucker. All right.
Dorothy Droner asks, what was the hardest scene that you can remember having to write?
Ooh, let's see. The hardest scene I can remember having to write, you'll notice dogs never die in my book. That's just never going to happen. I can tell you that right now. Unless they're a bad dog. Probably not even that.
There are no bad dogs, Brent.
It's I couldn't center on one. When I really get into the writing, really get into the scene, and I feel I really understand the characters, and I start to empathize and identify with the characters at a level I don't really see. Like, I don't realize it until I'm writing something bad happening to a character, and I'm like, kind of cringy inside. Okay, then that means I've done my job, and hopefully you guys have the same reaction. So I don't have any one specific, but by and large, it is when loved ones die are the worst moments. I've had several with the Champion, and watching Quentin's growth, where of course the Champion, of course, that's got a tragic coda in the end, but in the Gangster, watching Quentin's, the last of Quentin's innocence die away, and him envisioning like, this is the way if things were fair and I worked harder than everybody else, this would happen. And like, this is the way things should be. And as he starts to realize the way things actually are and the kind of person you have to be to get certain things done, that to me is really tragic. Cause he was, I believe 18 when the series started, and now he's 23. And it's pretty harsh. Tiny. And of course my nephews happen to be that age, and I'm fortunate enough to be able to talk to them pretty frequently, and kind of visualizing those idealistic young men getting to where I am now, and understanding how completely fucked up everything is and always has been and always will be. That's a bit of a loss. So that writing that with Quentin, with my nephews in my mind, has been the hardest thing as of late.
And I will say, this is going to be a spoiler alert, what I'm about to say, but for the Champion, specifically, for Quentin's relationship with his dad. So I'll give you a second if you have to opt out of this, but here we go. The scene where John Tweedy is in the kitchen of the restaurant with Quentin and not Killian. And he says, do you want me to kill him? Can you do it in the voice?
Do you want me to kill him?
And
I'll kill him for you.
Yeah. And that scene, I remember Scott writing through that scene, and the having John have to be the mature one, which is, that's John's trauma space. He doesn't want to have to, he wants to be the brute, like he wants to be the dumb, beautiful brute, right? Like that's his easy space. He doesn't have to think about why he has no doubt, whatever the thing he doesn't have to think about. And then there's Quentin, who is literally at the same moment realizing that he wants so badly to have a family that he bought into all of this, and realizing that the family that he actually has are not perfect people. That's John Tweedy, who will kill this man without even thinking twice about it because John loves him. That was actually rough for Scott to write. Not the actual writing of it, but like, do I want to do this to these people? Do I want to make John have to go through this and be more mature than he wants to be? And do I have to have Quentin grow up this much right there? It was hard.
The hardcore breakup of John and Quentin, like where their friendship changed forever. That was pretty rough, man. That was really rough to write, because I hold my my friendships with my core group of people I grew up with above almost everything else. Everything else in life. They are just amazing people. And to think that, because this happens to all friend groups at some point, as you get older and you start to have diverging political views, diverging views on life in general, different lives, different pressures, you wind up having that person that you grew up with no longer want to be part of your life, or you don't want them to be part of your life. Of course, that can happen with brothers and sisters and cousins, and even mothers, fathers, grandparents, etc. There's a lot of that going on. It has been for the past few years in the country. That is a tragic thing to me. So when I wrote about that, when John was just brokenhearted at what he perceived Quentin had done, there was some Kleenex. Yeah. There was some Kleenex writing all of that stuff. So it doesn't always have to be somebody dying. It can just, like, the destruction of friendships are tough.
And it's interesting because as a full-grown ass woman, hopefully, I now see, like, that's okay. Friendships can change and grow, and are not necessarily, it's not necessarily tragic if they end.
Oh, that's a good question.
As a young person, whew, yowza, that was very hard.
Woogie just got involved in the Facebook group, Sigler Junkies, and he said thank you to whoever recommended that for him. And he also wants to know. He also wants to know what's on the binders in the back shelf.
Great question.
So here we go.
Grab them.
Oh, that's too much work.
Or
I'll just shake my booty back here. This is, I get an hour of this every day. This is my band binder where I've got all my sheet music for the songs.
Is the cover showable? Because it's pretty. Can I?
Yeah, sure.
It's kind of neat.
That's how I was tracking. I was tracking
yeah.
Improvement on bass and singing for a while. Then this green binder, you can't see. This is the Crypt and a screenplay called Versus. Then a couple more screenplays, a nocturnal thing that never happened comic-wise, and then a couple of pilots that I've written, and then Mount Fitzroy, GFL 6. So I just hold on to the Stone Wolves, hold on to the binders for a while, just in case I am going to need them. And then this is my songbook for Evan Diamond in the library, who I am no longer with, but I keep all of those too, just in case. I don't want to throw it out and then 2 days later, like, hey, can you fill in for this? Like, no, I don't remember this song. So that's what's there. And then these are the current submarine books that are heavily influencing the Crypt. This book right here, you can't read it. It's a book for a project that Rob Otto and I are doing. And you wish you knew. And then I'll tell you this real quick. So I was going to post about this, and I probably will.
I'm not even sure what this is.
The new Predator movie, which I'm excited about, is about a Comanche woman who has to fight a predator in, I think, early 1700s or late 1600s. And this is to show you that great minds think alike. The most recent Predator anthology I was in, they wanted old school ancient warriors up against Predator or ancient civilizations. And then at some point, and I submit my story, and my story was for a Cherokee woman who fights, Comanche. A Comanche woman who winds up fighting against a predator. I was going to have a female predator with kids, and then the Comanche woman with kids, and see how that all kind of worked out. But the basis of it was, this is at the height of the Comanche Nation power, and they were a big fucking empire. They were really, really large. They adapted the European horse in a way that had never been adapted before, and came up with new tactics and new training, and it was brutal, but they kicked a lot of ass. So this is my Comanche book that I bought to study up for my Predator story that then got canceled, and then they wind up making a movie with the basic same setting. So great minds think alike sometimes. That's just the way things go. Any other questions, baby?
Yeah. If you could tell your younger self anything, what would it be?
It would be that someday a Twitch user named Grogamus is going to come on the chat and say, oh my God, it is our dark overlord. And I would tell myself that. And I would say, no matter what troubles one might go through, when you reach this point in your life is good.
But also, look at this. Doug in Texas. Hi, all. I just finished binging The Stone Wolves and The Gangster in the past few days. What a ride. Welcome.
Rock and roll,
I'm so
Doug.
glad you joined us on Twitch. That's so nice.
Thank you. So what advice would I tell myself?
If you could tell your younger self anything, what would it be? There's a secondary question, which is once you were a young writer. So one is asking, what would you tell your younger self in general? Mm-hmm. And then the other is, what would you tell yourself once you knew you were writing?
The primary thing I would tell myself when I was younger is I don't have to get so mad about everything. And A has been an absolute beacon in my life for this, and it's made a huge difference. Granted, I'm also older, so I mean, I think that's part of it. But I was a tiny creature of anger, and I had fun. My pals did all that stuff, but whenever it came to wanting to accomplish something, it was just nothing but just rage and anger. I was angry when I trained for wrestling all the time. Every match I lost, I used that as fuel to work harder and to get better. And I did get better, and I started to have success in that and went on to wrestle a little bit in college. And at some point in my head, that stuck. The angrier you get, the more you will focus, because I have trouble focusing, and the more you will accomplish the things you want to do. And I translated that into writing. And I just would get so mad at myself for the writing, and so mad when it didn't go very well, and so mad when somebody else got something I thought I should have had a shot at, but I didn't get a shot at it. So there's a lot of pettiness and bitterness in me in my early writing career, because I was a kid from a small town in northern Michigan. It was frustrating to watch people with far better connections publish what I thought were inferior books to mine, because I was arrogant, and get these opportunities that I couldn't even get in the marketplace. So that the anger was the biggest thing, and in our professional relationship over 13 years, and then our married relationship, has been a lot of work on. It's been your work ethic and your determination that has advanced your skill set and allowed you to have success. That the anger is not the thing. It's actually the dedication and commitment. So now a lot of stuff that would just, 5 years ago, shit could go down, that I would just be pounding my desk, mad at shit, super mad at the computer. If the computer doesn't work right, oh, it's on. And and now I'm much better at I would like to live more than the next 2 years and not have a massive aneurysm. Let's just calm down and fix it. Here's the thing. The reason I said all to say this, whether you get mad or not, the same problem still has to be solved. And and most of the time, if it's not an intruder in your home, the problem that needs to be solved is completely independent of what your emotional state may be. So calm down, get a drink, sit down, rework your schedule a bit, and be like, this is going to take as long as it takes. The madder I get, the more likely I'm not going to enjoy this. So just sit down and fix the problem. And that also goes for writing. So now, same thing with writing. Shit takes time. You are creating something that would never have existed without you. You are the God of this universe. And creating a universe and creating the people in this universe, creating your little Adams and Eves, is incredibly complicated. And you are omnipotent with a one eye that you can see things through. And a lot of times you miss all of the stuff around until as you write and start to step back, get a bigger view, like we mentioned earlier. Now I'm 73,000 words in, and I'm almost sure I'm going to hit something in the next 2 days. I'm going to be like, that wastes 3 days worth of work. I have to go back and do it all again. So if you got to do it all again anyways, getting mad about it doesn't accomplish anything. You got to sit back, calm down, be like, well, that's frustrating, but you have to solve the problem no matter what your emotional state. So you might as well not be angry about it. That's my advice. There you go.
I will share, although nobody asked, I will share a piece of advice that I'm working really hard on these days.
What's up, T Dizzy?
Because I think it would make my life a whole lot easier. And that's this. I have spent my entire life thinking if I could just excise the pieces of me that I didn't like, and therefore if I didn't like them, then it was okay to hate them. And somebody recently told me that it's not about solving and excising all the things you don't like. It's about you being able to love the worst version of yourself. And that moved me quite a lot. The pandemic is a little bit weird for me because I'm quite an extrovert. And while Scott is quite extroverted, he's also happy to write 24/7 if he can handle it,
Yep.
And kind of exist in that. And that's fulfilling. And so for me, that one little freeing thing that it's not about hating the worst parts of yourself. It's about loving the parts of yourself that you hate the most.
All right, T Dizzy, have a good stream.
Gives you a lot of grace to move forward, and that has been very moving. The last couple of weeks, I've been working on something very specific about myself. I felt a little lonely, and it's so hard to kind of the world keeps feeling like it's sort of closing in on you. And this is the thing that Scott doesn't have. And I kept saying to myself, like, God, I should why can't I just put this down? But the reality is I can't put it down. And having a little bit of grace for that part of myself that is so desperately wanting things to be different is fine and is a lot easier than hating it and pretending it doesn't exist. So that's my piece of unsolicited advice.
To show you guys that you're older than you think, T Dizzy was in the house over from San Francisco, off to do their own stream right now on Neverwinter, some video game. I don't know. I write all day. I don't play the video games. I wish I did, but I don't. And said sign off. I had a 7:00 launch for the show, and I started typing have a great parentheses cast, because I'm hip. It's not a podcast. It's a cast. Maybe it's a vidcast. You don't know. And then I'm like, no, sorry. Have a great stream, because it's a completely different thing now. So they're just. When you try and be cool, you guys, and the next thing you know, you have to shave off all your hair and get a new driver's license. It's just things happen sometimes. What's up, babe? Next question.
I absolutely don't know what's up, but I'll pick a new question. Let's see. Let me go all the way to the end.
I think I caught, Neverwinter. There we go. I thought I caught all the questions in the room.
I think so.
If we didn't answer your question, please retype it.
What is one thing you would give up if you thought it would make you a better writer?
One thing I would give up if I thought it would make me a better writer. I can't think of anything.
Good. That's the way it should be, because you don't know what would happen if you gave part of yourself up, I think.
Also, my life is very refined right now. It's very distilled. It's very streamlined. It's very myopic is what it is. In that I, frankly, pretty much have everything I want right now. I got her. I got bases. I got dogs. I get to write for a living. And this goes back to the younger Scott thing now. I've learned to be happier with... I've learned that if you're busting your balls all day long and you got the nose of the grindstone and all the other euphemisms, to work harder, to get more, to get ahead, all that stuff. And for us, it's been at some point realized we have been just burning the candle at both ends. Another euphemism. We've been we've been doing all this stuff, like other than going to cons where I still write. When do we stop and go, oh, look what we've accomplished. Maybe we should sit back and enjoy what we've accomplished instead of being pissed off all the time that I didn't accomplish more. So a lot of that work, a lot of that personal development has gone into this. So, you know, I got pretty much everything I want. I got awesome buddies from back in the day. I got puppies, you know, food on the table, bases on the wall, get to make some music every now and then. So I would not give up any of that to be a better writer. So the answer is nothing. Nothing. You go to hell.
Do you Google yourself?
Not so much anymore. I Googled, part of the business is, we do have vanity filters going or vanity searches.
Sure.
So that's why Reddit is, so interesting right now, because the thing we're using is called mention. And when somebody posts something in Reddit, pops up in my email, I jump in, I'm able to go in and say hi. So I don't Google myself, but the vanity filters are just as, you know, arrogant and egotistical, except for us, it's always been, for 15 years, been like, here's a way I can go out and show someone like, hey, man, I appreciate you. I'm glad you read my book. And that personal connection can go a very, very long way in a world where, you know, a lot of times your favorite author, it's like Stephen King, I know from experience, he's not going to return your letter. That's part of why I try and respond to everything I can. He's not going to return your letter. He's not going to return your letter.
That's okay.
Oh, jeez.
That's why he has a towel with him. That's why he needs a towel all the time. Carry your towel with you, hoopy fruits.
I was 19. I thought I would just send him a letter. I was going to say email, but there wasn't email when I was 19. And he never wrote back. Okay. All right, let's go. Next question.
Oh, well, let's see. Let's see if
Do we
there's
know
any
Allison Gill? I'm not placing it.
I don't think I'm placing it either.
Oh, but the last part about Googling myself, thank you, Rob, is I Googled myself at some point, and then I Googled myself and then found my Wikipedia page. I'm like, I'll check this out, because I hated the photo of the Wikipedia page. I'm like, I hate that photo. Can someone please, Jesus, I'm not going to edit myself. Can somebody go get that photo? And I go look and find out that from Google, I found out, and follow a link, or from Wikipedia, follow a link, wind up on Sheboygan, where I grew up. Coincidence. Sheboygan Brewing Company. This is amazing. Blood orange beer is amazing. If you ever in Northern Michigan, hook these people up. I found out I was the second most famous person from my hometown. And I was like, my work here is done. Grew up in a very, very small town. And according to Wikipedia, number 2, bitches. Number 2. And I'll take that poop any day of the week. Let's go.
I think we might be done. Is there any other Googling yourself? No, sir. No, sir. Do you want one more question?
Sure, one more question.
15 seconds.
Let's do it. Let's get it out.
Let's see.
Let's get it out. Number 1, Robin is a senator, or I don't remember, because he was dead before I was around. So, okay, go ahead, babe.
What is the first book that made you cry?
Oh my gosh, I think I have to go back to probably White Fang, or a dog named Wolf. Both Jack London stories. I'm pretty sure. It's been a while. And now I get upset when people die. When I was a kid, I was pretty much oblivious to that. But I had just awesome dogs when I was a little kid. Oh my God, they were the best. Coach and Bunner and Booger, and watching dogs go through trouble from a dog's point of view, that shit would make me cry every time. Every
We're
time
gonna
I
do
would cry.
One last one.
All right.
Bradley asks, what music do you use in the starter for trench warfare?
Oh, that's Arimathea, I think.
Arimathea.
And that's Joshua's. He's not in the chat room tonight.
Nope.
But it's
Joshua Loya.
Joshua
if you search
Loya.
him on Facebook, you might come up with the
There you go. Thanks, Robbie.
Joshua the Jedi. Joshua the Jedi, and
Yeah.
he was in a band called Arimathea.
You know what? Come back next week, and he will be in. I'm sure he might be in the chat room unless he's training martial arts. And just come back next week and ask that question again, and hopefully he'll be able to point you in the right direction. But Arimathea, I believe, is I believe that's the name of the band, and you can. I don't know if they're on Spotify because that's older, but if you can look them up, There you go, and that's the trench warfare song. That's it.
You guys, we're done for the day. We're going to be back next Wednesday. But before that, if you guys have any questions at all, if you're still missing any shipment, if you have any questions for us to share on Sigler in Place, if you want to share any photos, it's graduation, birthday, wedding, shower, wedding time, send in all your pictures so that we can share them and celebrate, because there's a lot of us still locked down. So go ahead and do that. Info@EmptySet is the way you do that.
Rob Otto says, the first most famous person from Sheboygan, George M. Humphrey, served as Secretary of the Treasury under President Dwight D. Eisenhower. There's your answer. That is the most famous person from Sheboygan.
Reagan, thank you so much. She posted info@EmptySet in the chat room on Twitch. If you guys need anything, you email
Sean
that. That's the best way to do it.
Arimathea's link in the chat room. Very nice.
Thank you, Sean.
And Steve Rickyberg's dropping the track on Spotify. Fantastic.
You guys are badass.
So there you go. You guys can now check out that awesome band, awesome dude, great music.
When are we coming back?
We are coming back on Wednesday, June 1st, 2022, which is National Olive Day. So I would assume that we're going to be having some martinis, is what I think. I don't know why.
Martinis and olives and like Marcona almonds.
We are going to have martinis. Yes, that's what we're going to with almonds. So
until then, we absolutely need you to stay safe.
I feel like Jerry Tarkanian right now. For those of you who remember, here I am I'm bald. If any of you remember Tark the Shark, that's for you.
Until then, we need you to stay safe, you guys. We need it.
We need you to stay smart.
We absolutely need you to stay science. We're not out of here yet. And hello, monkeypox. Come on now.
And for the love of science, we want you to stay informed. And of course, now we have learned that we've been cutting the show off too early. So we're going to tell you to kiss up in the sky right now. And we can say, you can all just kiss off into the sky. Mwah!
We love you to death, you guys.
Origami.